This is a demonstration of how to make the paper rockets used for the Maker's Fair. So what we have here is we have the jig, a sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper. We slide the paper in against this edge here and that edge there. Then we take the cutting straight edge, lay it in like so. Then we take a knife, and I'm going to use a carpentry knife, but you could use a hobby knife as well, or just a blade, and cut along here like so, and then place it on this edge and make another cut. And now what I have is the piece of paper that will be used for the body tube. And to make the fins, I put the paper back in, and I just flip it over to use the other edge that came with the paper, the good edge, not the edge I cut, but it shouldn't matter. And I cut again. And now what I do is I take this paper and I slide it up to this edge here and cut that out. Again, rotate this a little bit and cut on this outer edge. And now I have the fin blank, and I repeat that until I have 4 fin blanks. Like so. All right. And again, so, and one last time. So now the rest of this is scrap, but I have 4 fin templates and a body tube. So then I come over here to the forming jig, and I just use the top edge of this to align it, but then I roll this on here like so, and I think this is similar to what we're currently doing, but there'll be some reasons for why this is important the way I'm doing it that'll become evident in a second. And I just tape it down just to hold it in place on both ends.
Not to the
No, just
tube,
not to the tube itself. But what we're trying to do is get this as straight as possible, which apparently I did not succeed at doing so in this particular one. So we'll slide that in.
Maybe having the tape torn ahead of time is
Yeah,
a good
I'll
hint.
put tape there, and then I take a long piece of tape to seal up that remaining seam, and I start on the flap. And I just move it forward like this. And then we want to make sure that this slides easily, which for some reason we have extra tape on here. I don't know why. Oh, probably because I cut a piece of tape too long. So I'm just going to cut that off, but this would not be typically what we would deal with. All right, so now we want to make sure this slides easily, because this is the same type of tube as on the launcher. And if it does, then we slide it down into here to this marking guide. And where it says draw line here, I simply draw a marking line in 4 locations. Oops, lost my pen. All right. And then I can slide this back up on here, and we'll set that aside for a moment. Now we take a fin blank, and you'll note there's 2 instructions. The first one is fold down. So you line the paper edge there, and you fold along that edge, increase it, and you can just pinch that tight. And then you come over here and take that fold and align it against the second edge and fold it down here. And there's a little step here to prevent you from folding the wrong sequence. So if you try and fold it in the wrong sequence, it won't fold properly. So now what I have here is a fin, and I can take this fin and put a piece of tape on each edge, and I go over here and I line it up in the bottom of my tube, and I line up the edge of the fold on the line, and then I just pinch this tight and fold that together, and I repeat that 4 times, and I'll end up with something like this. And then the last step here is to put the nose cone on, like so. And then I just again take a piece of tape, wrap it all the way around, and then I come back and just push this down on the perimeter. And there we have a finished rocket, ready to go to the launcher.